Let's take a moment and look at the big picture of the grading aspect of Math 108 and how we can help you to be more successful. You'll notice on the left-hand side we have the different categories that fit into the scheme of how Math 108 operates. Everything from exams clear down to the Gateway Seminar, and the percentages of weight that vary from 50% all the way down to 2 percentage points. Overall, the grade comes from, in essence, 100 points. So you'll notice that what I'm going to do here is take a look at two extremes: a great test taker, but one who is doing mediocre work in all the other areas, and then we'll look at the other side of the spectrum, and I think you'll be able to see that there's a great message here. And it's likely that you don't fit in either extreme. You're somewhere in the middle, and that's understandable, but the big picture is the small things do matter. So let me demonstrate. If we have someone who's a great test taker that gets a 95, then their exam scores are 50% of their overall grade, therefore 47.5 of their 100 total points are coming from exams. But this particular individual, let's say, has like a halfway effort in projects, MyMathLab, and so on, and in fact is doing nothing in these last two categories. We'll notice that that individual will pass the class, but that particular student would walk away with a 70%, let's say a C minus, as a result. Notice what happens then if we start to bring in the little things. Let's suppose that that person decides that the seminar is worth attending for 1 hour and achieves, of course, the pass-fail on this would be either a 0 or a 100%. All right, so far we've upped the score to a 72. And let's suppose they do a great job on the topics, and that already brings them from a C minus to a solid C. But looking at the big picture here, projects are actually worth a fourth of your overall grade. And so let's suppose this individual really steps it up and does an 80 on the average project. And so that suddenly brings that individual right back into the B minus range. Significant improvement. Likewise with the MyMathLab experience. Now we're up to a B plus. And the prep quizzes, we'll go with an 80 there. All right, so already you've seen how even though they seem like small things, for example, the prep quizzes are only 5 percentage points and the Gateway Seminars 2 percentage points, these little things do quickly add up to take that person from a C minus to a B plus. Suppose they work just a little bit harder on the projects. Right there, now they're talking A minus up to a 91. So that's the extreme, and I want to take you to the opposite end of the spectrum, and let's go with someone who is a very poor test taker and is only averaging a 60 and does just mediocre on the small things and perhaps on the other two, nothing at all. Okay, it doesn't take rocket science to see that this individual is not going to pass the class. But it's not just because of the low test score average. Notice that there just isn't enough effort being made in projects. So let's see how things shake out when we start to improve the situation. This person, let's suppose, attends the Gateway Seminar for the full 100, accomplishes the topics, the two reading papers for a full 100. Still not passing, but definitely much closer to that D minus than ever before. Now the prep quizzes, instead of leaving a lot of them blank, this person decides to do a little better job, suppose a 70. All right, so we've climbed up. But then MyMathLab and the projects are definitely worth significant percentage points, so it's not going to be that difficult to see that it makes a huge difference. Suppose they work more diligently in MyMathLab and get an 80. Now we're talking a solid D or D minus area there, and then projects, let's put in an 80 average there, and now we're back up to a C minus, which is pretty amazing when you consider that the exam average was a D minus, but the overall grade is a C minus. So these things do matter, and with just even a little bit more effort, suppose this individual pulls a 90 average on the projects, which is quite doable, and a 90 on MyMathLab. So now we're definitely in the solid C range, despite the fact that this individual had some very significantly low test averages. So that's the message I wanted to point out, that the small things do matter in a big time way. It's not just all exams, although exams are the most heavily weighted category. What really truly matters, though, is that you complete all of the things that you're asked to do, and that'll enhance your learning. And in fact, one could argue that doing these small things down here actually will improve your exam scores overall as a result. And maybe to finish, let's just take someone in the mid-range, suppose someone that averages a 75 on exams. That's a C for an exam average, but notice how they finish out their Math 108 experience with a B minus because of these other smaller things. So in conclusion, just a little scripture here that I have always considered one of my favorite. Wherefore be not weary in well-doing, for ye are laying the foundation of a great work, and out of small things proceedeth that which is great. We hope that's helpful for you. Remember that it's the small things that matter in Math 108. Follow directions, pay close attention to deadlines, and good things will happen. Thank you very much.